Cumberland School Committee Fiscal Management Subcommittee, Thursday, February 25th at 5:17 p.m. In accordance with Governor Ramondo's Executive Order 21-10 dated February 3rd, 2021, the Cumberland School Committee intends to conduct this meeting remotely. The public can participate in this meeting remotely, but not in person, by calling area code 312-626-6799. The webinar ID is 958-8813-9656. Or you can actually join us on the Zoom web by going to the Cumberland School Department events calendar off the main page, and you'll be able to see the links that you need to get in through Zoom. And the passcode is 711135. So item number A is approval of the agenda, compliance with the governor's executive order dated 21-10, dated February 3rd, 2021, discussion or vote whether there's adequate public access to the meeting through alternate means. And I see we have a couple of people here, so there definitely is. So I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll motion to approve.
Motion by Carrie Smith,
Second.
by Mr. Collins, all in favor?
Aye.
I have it, 3-0. Thank you. Next is approval of the minutes from February 11th, 2021. Anyone have any corrections or additions to it? Carrie?
Mrs. DeMonico, if I could just ask, I see that we did assign the policy number that wasn't assigned when we did that vote last time
Right.
to 04. I just cannot find the updated version. So I don't know if that's available in the drive or.
I'm not sure. Give me one sec. Let me just, I believe it is because I did see something in the drive, but it could be under new business. Give me one moment. 21 February, let's see. February 25th. New business. For the asbestos work, there is a number of SCPR 02-2021-06. That was for the asbestos consulting services. Is that the one you're talking about, Mr. Smith?
I believe that the number in the minutes is now 04. It had not been assigned. And I thought that we were doing 05 and 06 on tonight's agenda.
We are. I don't know why that's still under new business again, just maybe because they assigned a number to it.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. When we get down to that, we'll take another look and see what it says, okay?
Okay, it
Paul,
doesn't.
Yes, Alex.
if I could ask, Carrie, there was also something you wanted added to one of the resolutions, and I've been out for a couple. Could you refresh my memory? I haven't been in to do that.
That is the same one, Alex. The ending 24 or 04. I believe at the time when we approved it, we were pending the policy number or the allocation number, whatever it is that
Yeah.
Cindy gives to it.
Yeah.
And then the wording was just to revamp where it stated that 99,000 and that 60,000 of it is already budgeted. The 30,000 or whatever is in addition to non-budgeted funds.
Okay.
I think those were the two updates.
Yeah, I haven't been in to do that, so I will get that done for you.
Okay, thank you. And
welcome.
Mrs. DeModica, it does not interfere with the meeting minutes. I just wanted to make sure I could correlate it, but
Right.
the meeting minutes, I will vote to approve.
Okay. All right, we have a motion to approve. Mr. Collins, do you second that? He
Second.
does. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, 3-0. We'll make those corrections. There is no payment of bills this week, Alex. If you don't mind, we'll take Shauna Spillane first so that she can go back to feeding her child, and we'll move to the go back to business office monthly report. Shauna, I shouldn't say. You here? You're muted.
Yes,
There you
if
go.
Mike, if you can just let me access the share screen, please.
Okay. You're muted again.
Oh, I'm doing that purposely.
Boy.
Thanks.
There we go.
Perfect. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. So I'm here to speak about the January financial close. I know that typically we report a little bit closer to the month, but sometimes the way the closing and obviously the schedule of these meetings, I just want to remind people that we are speaking about January numbers. So on
Okay.
this. Sorry, all my controls switch when I start sharing. So on the screen in front of you, you can see that the total gross department cost for January was around 60,000. And that obviously includes our products, controllables, and labor. And that number is offset by our revenues. And you can see here that we are trending very well with our overall revenues. Because of our increased reimbursement rate this year, I just want to remind everyone that the summer food service program rates were approved by the USDA, and it basically qualifies all students to receive a free meal, breakfast and lunch, and that puts us at a higher reimbursement rate than our usual 20% free and reduced. So you can see that in this total categories, it's much higher than what we projected going into this school year. Again, the same thing applies to our reimbursement rate for breakfast. It's much higher than what we anticipated. So all those are great things. You know, we are getting more bang for our buck, as you can say. And it does put our total revenues for January at around 90,000, which had a monthly operating profit of about 28,000. Our total revenues are just over 300,000. Again, budgeted at 180, but we have those increases of meals and reimbursement rates that are letting that number go higher. It puts our total expected guarantee currently at negative almost 4,000, but that's trending very well from what we budgeted. And we have seen 2 very profitable months in December and January. And I just want to actually remind everybody that one of the reasons why those low operating months are so profitable is because we are doing take-home meals. We were very successful with both breaks for Christmas and the extended break, giving those 5-day packouts to families. So we are recuperating a lot of meals by doing that. So we're very happy that that program was approved and we can send meals take home on weekends and on breaks. So those months are in the red, actually, the positive, the black. Questions about that and how the program is running with the virtual meals, or why these numbers are very different from last year at this time?
Does anyone have any questions for Shauna?
Dennis, go ahead.
Hey, Shauna, I hope this is the right time to ask, but I look, one thing that stood out was labor costs, which are down. And one thing I discovered in touring schools last week during school break is that there was a general consensus that the cafeteria staff numbers are down. So they're understaffed. Is that correct?
They're not understaffed. I actually had just previously done a report for Bob and for a few other members on this call about our meals that we're serving. And I can elaborate a little bit more about that. I know that we don't have that much time on this call, And I don't want to take up too much time, but basically our labor hours are based on the meals served. And technically, we are a little bit high, as you can see in our labor number, because, for instance, we would have a site that's serving 50 meals, but we're staffing it with a 6-hour position because that position needs to be there to serve breakfast and then lunch. And there's some extended time frames there. So going into this year, and I know Alex, we've kept him up to date about our labor costs have been higher than traditionally, with extra cleaning, with doing a lot of extra things because of COVID restrictions, packing out meals, delivering to classrooms, things like that. So certainly we have been currently operating efficiently with those numbers. The bigger, I guess, issue is that we are short-staffed. So it's not just the positions that are on just our short staff, it's the LOAs, it's the people that are obviously quarantining or out of work for normal sick calls or normal days off. We don't have a big of a backup pool as we had in years past. And I know this is happening in all industries, and right here in Cumberland, we're having, issues with teachers and things like that. It's definitely cross industry of being shorthanded. But we're working with that. We've been working with it since day one, and we're almost in our 100th day of school, and we've been successful with managing the lunch program. I always use the analogy, when we don't have enough staff members, teachers, the site closes, but of course, food service, we don't close for the day. It's one of those things where it's the show must go on. So we certainly are being creative and shipping meals from different locations, sharing staff. I have staff starting at one site, going to a different site throughout the day, which typically we don't do. A lot of convenience things that we've been doing with streamlining the menu, going to a prepared cold breakfast, not serving a hot breakfast. There's little things that we've been doing to definitely meet that mark. And with the upcoming addition of students, we certainly have a little bit of a gap, because people unfortunately are used to serving, in my example, 50 meals in a 6-hour period, when last year they were serving, double that. So we're watching the trends, we're watching the meals, just because there's going to be double the amount of students doesn't mean our participation will be doubled, if that makes sense. But we are obviously looking at those numbers weekly. Sorry to be so long-winded with that, Dennis.
No, because when talking to the building administrators, I asked, all of them, what's one of the challenges you're facing? And it was just an unforeseen thing on my part. I was looking at the classrooms, but they're like, the cafeteria is going to be challenged with more kids and, short staff. So that's the only reason I asked, because I saw the numbers have gone down a little bit, and I thought there might be a connection, but I know that your explanation is great, and thank you, and good luck with the extra students, because it's important. So thank you.
Certainly. And I just do want to remind also, we are running a lunch program and a delivery program in the same building. So basically our ladies would, in some cases, have been serving meals in the cafeteria and delivering to classrooms. So it's more of the footprint that's extended. And then also the lunches have been extended because of spacing concerns. So just generally, the workload has gotten more complex, but still we're vetting for those meals. There aren't as many meals, if that makes sense.
All right, thank you. Anyone else have a question? Go ahead, Mrs. Smith.
Thank you. Shauna, could you describe what your anticipations are going to be for the take-homes after this point? It's my understanding right now that some of the schools are pretty high on the every other day take-home meals. So have we readjusted for that if it's only going to be weekends and holidays?
Yes, typically we don't see that many during the week. We do at the high school allow the students to take home for the next day or any other identified families, but our biggest push is certainly that Friday before the weekend and before a long holiday. So I anticipate it would be the same. We've worked really hard to increase those numbers the last couple months. We've actually brought on board Rise of Woonsocket, who we support in a food service program. We've brought them into this take-home program, and we've been seeing our numbers skyrocket there because we're obviously, that area has a lot of free and reduced students and a lot of food insecurities. So we're able to meet that demand and also increase our revenue with the virtual take-home meals.
So we do not anticipate much change to our revenue and what we're seeing right now then. It sounds to me that we should be along the same tracks.
Yes, because most of those meals are going to Rise and Bradley. Maybe, I want to say 20% of them are in Cumberland.
Okay. And just one other silly question. Are students in the high school aware that the free meals only relate to those specific meals and not for the snacks and other things? And I only ask because I've heard from people saying, why do I have a balance in my Sodexo account? Why do I owe money? I thought lunch was free.
Certainly, yeah. So there hasn't been any charges this year unless there's money on the account to debit from, which would be a la carte purchases, those snacks, which we just started within the last month. But those balances are rolled over year to year. So I think that there is a little bit of confusion. And also we haven't actively been recuperating that debt, sending home emails, letters mailed to the addresses. We actually just started doing that this past month, just because we are coming up on graduation, and some of those senior obligations of balances that they've racked up over the last 4 years certainly need to be rectified.
Right. Right. And that's probably why we're getting a few more questions on it now, and trying to explain that a la carte does not fall under the, the federal free lunch that we have in place right now with the pandemic. It's been a little bit trying, and as long as the students understand and it's clearly marked, I think that's what everyone was looking for.
Oh yes, there's signs, and I've actually put a block so it cannot be negatively taken for a la carte. We actually had revised the meal policy a few years back, and we stopped allowing a la carte sales to be in the red, if that makes sense. So
it does.
Only a student that has money on their account can use it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anyone else? All right, Shauna, thank you for your report tonight, and have a good night.
Thank you. Have a nice night, everybody.
All right. Okay, next is on the agenda, we'll go back to the business office monthly report. Alex?
I don't have anything tonight, Paul.
Okay, and one sec. Next is facilities report. Will, are you here? Yes, I see you're here. Do you have a report for us tonight, Will?
I really don't have much of anything. The pool pack did go back down again on us. I did call out the vendor who did the startup when we first had that pool pack come and be installed.
Yeah.
He did come out, and he ordered a pot for it, and it should be back. It's running now. He got it to run and stay running. And the pot should be in next Tuesday.
Okay. All right, anyone have a question for Will at all? All right, seeing no hands raised, we'll move on to resolutions. I have two resolutions tonight. First is SCPR 02-2021-05. A resolution empowering the Cumberland School Committee to approve replacing 25 univents in the main building of the high school in an amount not to exceed $700,000. It is the recommendation that we award the contract to Annie Associates, who has been doing all the univent and the energy management systems in all of our schools. E&E is on the state of Rhode Island MPA list. And I know this was heard during the building committee meeting about a week ago, and the payment will come from the town bond issue of $79 million. And I believe, Mr. Pignano, we got permission from RIDE to add this into the $79 million project?
Well, what happened just to refresh people's memories, we had money in the original bond allocated to do repairs to univents at the elementary schools. But with the work we've done, we think those univents are operating in fairly good order. And we used COVID money and other things to get that done. It was all part of the whole effort to get, ventilation, improved ventilation due to the pandemic. So in the original bond, there was like about $800,000 for repairs on those univents. And what we plan on doing eventually is moving that money from those elementary schools to the high school bond allocation to pay for these. As of now, though, because there's money in the high school for repair, for work we haven't yet done, RIDE doesn't want us to do the transfer till later on. They said, you've got a budget, you've got money, you can use that money at this point to do this, with the transfer happening later.
Okay.
So yes, RIDE did think it was a good project to get done. The building committee, when they met last week, I guess it was it last Monday maybe? They approved this project to move forward. And so we wanted to come to the school committee and also get approval.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Mrs. Smith?
Thank you. Alex, so we don't have anything in writing from RIDE at this point that states that we will be able to allocate it from that 79 million bond?
Well, you can transfer money if you don't spend money. You can transfer money. You have to notify them. No, they at this point, they said, don't bother transferring the money at this point. They like transfers to come in towards the end of a project so they're not constantly doing, all through the 5-year period, doing a bunch of transfers for you. So they've asked that we do that at the end of the project.
Okay, so I guess I'm a little confused then where is the 700,000 or up to 700,000 going to be coming from?
In the original 79 allocate, in the original $79 million allocation, there's a significant number of dollars in that 79 million that's allocated right now for the high school. They're saying, since some of those high school projects aren't going to happen to year 4 and 5, use that money now. Don't do a transfer. You've got money already in the high school bond, in the budget. Use that. And then if you need to, and we will need to, their hope is that you would find money in there and you wouldn't have to come in for a transfer. This is a significant amount of money. I believe we will have to come back for a transfer, but they prefer it be done at the end since we have money available.
Okay. That makes much more sense. When you said high school budget, I'm thinking it's coming from our budget then.
Oh,
and
no,
then
no, no,
we'll get
pardon me.
transferred later. It is the bond budget.
No, each
It
school
still
has a
is in the
budget in the bond.
Right. So it is still the high school bond budget.
Right.
Okay.
And so then our goal here is to combine this project with the work that will be done that's already approved in the bond, the trans building univents, some 21 univents there, and to do those 46 univents as one project. But since the 21 are already been approved by RIDE and, a part of the bond, and this wasn't, we're just coming to kind of add this on to the work that'll be done.
Thank you, that answers it.
Anyone else have any questions? Or I see Mr. Murphy is here from E&E Systems.
Yep, and also John Coppolis is here from
Colliers.
Colliers.
Right. And welcome, Mr. Murphy and Mr. Coppolis. Mr. Murphy, do you feel that we'll be able to get the univents in time for the summer work?
Yes, John.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping we can get the approvals from RIDE and get the prices in under the estimates and get them on order at the latest mid-March. Mid-March gets us univents here at the end or beginning of July, end of June, beginning of July. So we'll try to expedite everything as best we can. We'll have everything lined up and ready to go. As soon as we get a green light, we'll buy the equipment. But the longer you wait with this stuff, the more other school districts get in line to buy their univents. So, the sooner the better on getting the equipment on order. We'll be nervous up until that point for sure.
Okay.
And let me just
Go ahead.
Can I just say, Paul just said, and I don't want it to be confusing. He said, approval from RIDE. RIDE has approved it. What Paul is talking about, they've approved the project, but we have to go back to them now with schematic drawings and design and all that type of stuff. They still have to manage all that and approve that. But the scope of the project and the idea of doing those univents is been approved.
Right, I did see Mr. Torado at the building committee meeting, and so he'll be able to get the schematics done and approved. Mr. Coppolis, do you feel there'll be any issues with that?
No, I don't foresee any issues or challenges with that, Paul. I think, they're proceeding with the assumption that that will be part of that scope of work. So
Right.
as Alex had said, RIDE is in favor of this process and adding that into that scope of work. So we don't see any challenges at this point.
Okay, anyone else have any questions? Hearing none, I need a motion to approve, and this will go, I guess, back to the building committee, letting them know that we did approve to move forward here. So I need a motion.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Collins,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Smith, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it 3-0 on that one. Thank you very much. All right, the next is a SC,
Thank you, Paul and John.
Alex, did we approve this already, the asbestos consulting? I believe we did last week, the last meeting, that we didn't have a, we did not have a resolution number for this one. I believe we already did this one. Because we have the letter here from Colliers asking that we award this, that it went out to competitive bid. So this one has already been approved on February 11th, the SCPR 02-2021-06 to award to Emery, which was, they were the lowest bidder off the state bid list. So this one's already been done. We're just adding the resolution number if,
Right, we didn't have resolution numbers.
right, for that one.
Right.
Okay, so there's no vote needed on that one since it's already been approved. And it was just a housekeeping error, not an error, but update on the housekeeping to get the resolution number. So next we have the CHS activity reports ending January 31st, 2021 as an amount of $354,343.62. And that normally gets filed. So left is any public comment. Is there anyone here from the public? Mr. Chandler, do you see that would like to speak? I don't see anyone.
At this time, nobody has their hands up, but it looks like it's just us at this point.
Okay. All right. I don't see any other business. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Collins,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it 3-0 at 5:45 PM. Thank you all, and we'll see you on the other side for executive session.